Alright, in this video, I want to show you how to solve absolute value equations. So let's first look at the definition. An absolute value of a real number, we use this notation to represent. And this equals A if this number is a non-negative number, and equals negative A if this number is negative number. So what this definition means is if a real number is positive or the real number is 0, then when we take the absolute value of this number, the result will be the number itself. However, if the number is a negative number, and when we take the absolute value of this number, the result will be the opposite, will be positive 4. So the thing is, after we apply the absolute value to any numbers, the result is always going to be a non-negative numbers. The result is always be a non-negative real number. Now we can use this property to solve an absolute value equations. Let's see, here we have the absolute value of x equals 4. And we want to determine what is x, right? So just like solving equation, we want to solve this equation for x. Now, according to the definition of absolute value, we know that x could be 4, right? Or x could be negative 4. So, therefore, we have two solutions. Or x equals 4. X equals 4 or x equals negative 4, right? Now, let's take a look at another example. Now here we're solving the equation, the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 4. Now, the x minus 5, this is used to represent this real number. So now what we know is we have some real number, and the absolute value of this real number equals 4. So we know we have two possibilities. One is this real number equals 4. Another possibility is this real number, it equals negative 4. So from this equation, from this absolute value equation, we can generate these two equations. And by solving each two equations, we can have a solution. So the solution is x equals 9 or x equals 1. We can let's verify this. If x equals 9, then we have 9 minus 5. So the absolute value of 9 minus 5 equals the absolute value of 4, which equals 4, right? Now, what about if x equals 1? If x equals 1, we're going to have an absolute value of negative 4. Now, we know this still be 4. So that's why both x and, both 9 and 1, they are solution. So the thing is, when we are given an equation like this, when we have the absolute value of this expression ax plus b equals k. Now this absolute value equation will generate two equations. One equation is ax plus b equals k. So that means these two numbers are the same. They are both the positive numbers. Another possibility is ax plus b equals negative k. So that means these two numbers, they are opposite. Right? So one is negative number, and this is a positive number. Right? Now let's consider this example. The absolute value of 2x plus 1 plus 6 equals 10. Now, some students, they wonder, okay, how can we use this formula over here? Because we have a 6 on the left-hand side, right? So if we have a number, we have another number on the left-hand side of the equation, then before we remove the absolute value sign, we have to remove this number and take it to the right. So therefore, before I removing the absolute value, I subtract 6 from both sides. Now the equation becomes the absolute value of 2x plus 1 equals 4. Okay, at this point, we apply this property, so we can generate two equations. One is 2x plus 1 equals positive 4. So that means 2x plus 1 is a positive number. It is positive 4. Another equation is 2x plus 1 and 4. They are opposite. So 2x plus 1 equals negative 4. So therefore, we can find these two solutions. X equals 3 over 2 or x equals negative 5 over 2. Alright, now let's consider this equation. Now, do you think if we can find a solution to this equation? The answer is no, right? Now, some students, they said the answer is 7 and negative 7. Now, this is wrong. Why this is wrong? Because we said after we take the absolute value, this whole thing will be a non-negative numbers. So if the absolute value of x equals negative 7, this is impossible. Because no matter which number you take the absolute value to that number, you will always get a non-negative numbers. So for equation like this, there's no solution. There's no solution.